A big victory for the families of Pan Am 103, a victory that could be worth millions. An emerging crackdown on one of the most frightening fads ever to hit this country. And Eye on America. Tonight, the host city for next week's Democratic convention and why beauty is indeed in the eye of the beholder.
Tell your folks here, there's no place like this place, any place near this place, so this must be the place.
This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening, Dan Rather reporting. 3.5 years after the terror bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland, families of victims took their first concrete step toward compensation today. A federal jury found Pan American Airways guilty in a verdict that could mean millions of dollars in damages. Jacqueline Adams has the story.
Are you going to have a good evening?
Beaming mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers of the victims of Pan Am Flight 103 finally won their first victory today.
It's a wonderful result, and we're very gratified.
After 3.5 years of legal and diplomatic wrangling, a U.S. District Court jury in Brooklyn ruled that Pan Am was guilty of willful misconduct in allowing the terrorist bomb to be smuggled aboard. It's a decision that could cost the bankrupt airline and its insurer millions.
You think you'll ever see any money?
Yep.
The verdict brought smiles, tears, and hugs, a feeling among some of the families that justice had finally been done. Outside, however, relatives of the 259 victims strictly heeded the judge's order not to comment until the jury begins awarding damages. That process could take years.
Thank God we prevailed, and we start a week from Monday on damages.
A federal grand jury indicted 2 Libyans for the bombing last year. So far, Libya has refused to hand over the men for trial. Lawyers for Pan Am and its insurance carrier had argued that the airline itself was a victim of foreign terrorists and therefore should not be held responsible.
For somebody to be what I consider the cause of this, to continually insist that they're right, I can't understand it. I don't understand their way of thinking. I don't see how they can say they weren't at fault.
The Brooklyn jury, however, agreed with the families. Pan Am was at fault, they ruled, because the airline's security employees failed to examine a suspiciously unaccompanied suitcase, the suitcase that contained the bomb. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, New York.
A federal jury in Arizona has ordered former savings and loan executive Charles Keating and 3 co-defendants to pay more than $2 billion in damages. They were convicted of swindling thousands of savings and loan investors. Keating is already serving a prison term in California for securities fraud. An Alaska appeals court today threw out the sole conviction against the captain of the Exxon Valdez in the nation's worst oil spill. The court ruled Joseph Hazelwood was immune to prosecution because he had immediately reported the 1989 spill. The captain's lawyer called the ruling a complete victory. The new Los Angeles police chief is moving quickly to make changes. He has shut down what was called a special intelligence unit following accusations that the unit was really a secret spy network for former police chief Daryl Gates. Ron Allen reports.
Chief Willie Williams promised to restore LAPD's integrity when he took over. Now, just 10 days on the job, he's shutting down a police intelligence unit to investigate whether it's been spying on powerful and influential people throughout Los Angeles.
I had information that alleged, and I have to emphasize this, alleged improprieties on the part of past or current members.
Word of today's investigation coincides with the release of a new book on the subject. A detective who resigned from the department in 1984 outlines charges that the unit targeted public officials, such as Mayor Tom Bradley and former Governor Jerry Brown, in search of